Peace be upon you and God's mercy, Rabbi Alawal, but I will ignore it. Since when? An earthquake struck Egypt on Tuesday, August 18, 2024 at 3 o'clock in the morning with a magnitude of 5 or 5.2 on the Richter scale. And you know that this earthquake or the effects of this earthquake reached several areas in Egypt. The epicenter of the earthquake was near the Gulf of Suez or near the Egyptian Suez Canal, and until now, some very mild aftershocks are still hitting Egypt even at this moment, but they remain light tremors, like 2 or 2.1 on the scale. Some people in Egypt can feel them in Suez, Ismailia, Cairo, Giza, and Qalubia, the nearby areas. The areas include the cities within these Egyptian governorates. But as I told you, only a few people actually feel them. But honestly, this earthquake motivated me to go back and look at the history of earthquakes in Egypt, to see the history of earthquakes in Egypt, and whether there have been earthquakes similar to this one. Honestly, I am reviewing some historical events that happened in Egypt. For example, today when the earthquake struck, there was a series of strong earthquakes that hit Spain. Today, a series of earthquakes hit Spain for the first time, and as we know, Spain overlooks the Mediterranean Sea, and maybe this poses a threat to the entire Mediterranean region. It's important not to get carried away. The earthquake struck on August 3rd. When I went back through the history of earthquakes, I discovered that there was a very strong earthquake that struck as well. At the same time, also in the month of August, an earthquake struck Egypt. It was perhaps the strongest earthquake to ever hit Egypt, specifically the Suez earthquake on the 26th, which was in August. That earthquake was on the 8th of August, but specifically it struck in the year 1847. 1847 in the Gregorian calendar, which means about 109 years ago from now. At that time, Egypt witnessed one of the most destructive earthquakes in its history, or not in its entire history, but specifically during the 19th century. We're not saying in all of history, but it was one of the strongest earthquakes that hit Egypt during the 19th century. The earthquake at that time struck on August 8th or maybe August 7th, specifically between 8 o'clock and 8:30, and its magnitude was 5.8 on the Richter scale. Do you remember the initial magnitude of the earthquake? Suez was at 20. In 2026, it was 5.7, while this earthquake on August 7, 1847, had a magnitude of 5.8 on the Richter scale. Its epicenter at that time. The epicenter of this very strong earthquake that hit Egypt back in 1847 was actually in the Egyptian city of Fayoum. And of course, at that time, I'm not making this up. God willing, I'll remember to show you some historical documents on the screen because we found historical books that talk about this subject. God willing, I'll remember to show them to you. The earthquake, according to historical documents, was felt across wide areas of the country and caused massive destruction. It says that in Fayoum, which was the center of the earthquake, about 3,000 houses were completely destroyed, approximately. The documents also mention the number as 42. 42 mosques in Greater Cairo were affected. I think they mean Cairo and Giza, maybe also Qalubia or Sharqiya as part of the Greater Cairo region. In the Greater Cairo region, about 1,000 houses were damaged, and important neighborhoods in the Egyptian capital, Cairo, witnessed destruction, such as Al Gamaliya, Al-Qala, Al-Azbakiyya, and also the city of Fustat in Cairo. They say there was severe damage and the collapse of many houses at that time. Even Alexandria, although it's far away, also felt the strength of this earthquake. They also mention the effects and the power of this earthquake. It reached Asyut Governorate in Upper Egypt. Asyut Governorate is one of the governorates of Upper Egypt. At that time, according to the sources, and I have some doubts about the accuracy of the statistics, they said that 185 people died. I expect the number is higher, but we are limited to these historical documents from that time. In 1847, recording deaths or statistics was somewhat difficult. For example, if someone died in Cairo, people in Giza might not know about it because, as you know, transportation was very limited at that time. And during the days of Muhammad Ali, I'm not really sure. During Muhammad Ali's time, just imagine. Anyway, that's not our focus. What was really dangerous about this earthquake is that thousands of families were displaced. So, what caused all this destruction? Even though it was a 5.8 earthquake, as we see at this time in 2026, we've talked a lot about 5.8 earthquakes, but they don't usually destroy this huge number of homes. What caused such a large number of homes to be destroyed in Egypt back then and displace thousands and thousands of families? There's a clear reason. Even though the earthquake's magnitude was 5.8, it was the duration of the earthquake that made all the difference at that time. They say the earthquake lasted, according to historical records from that time, from 1 to 2 minutes. The August 3rd, 2026 Egypt earthquake lasted about 20 to 25 seconds. People were shocked, people were scared, and people rushed out into the streets. It caused a huge panic among everyone. So imagine if the earthquake had lasted as long as the Fayoum one, from 1 to 2 minutes. What's strange is that the epicenter of the Fayoum earthquake is also somewhat close to the epicenter of the Cairo earthquake, almost in the same area. Look at the epicenter of the earthquake. The 1847 one was almost in the same area as the epicenter of the October 12, 1992 earthquake, which also hit Egypt near a place called Dashur. They call it the Dashur earthquake. And coincidentally, it had the same magnitude, 5.8 on the Richter scale. Dashur and Fayoum are almost in the same area, meaning they're on the same fault line. And there's no need to tell you that during the 1992 earthquake, there were also heavy casualties and massive destruction in Egypt. The epicenter of the August 3rd earthquake, which was in Suez, is only 150 kilometers away from the epicenter of the Fayoum earthquake in 1847. Fayoum is southwest of Cairo, and Suez is northeast of Cairo. I just wanted to mention and show you these historical documents. Wishing safety to our people in Egypt. That's all from me. Ahmad Al-Dir is the producer and presenter of the show What's Happening on Blockade.